Think about this. You feel electric as you leave the interview. You had an amazing connection, a great talk, and even made the person in charge of hiring laugh twice. You know you have it, and then nothing. A goes by, and this silence is deafening. You keep going on every moment in your head, wondering, what did I miss? You think that what you say in an interview is all that matters. But the real interview, the one that decides whether you are going to be recruited or not, is on a different channel altogether. It's in the habits you don't say loud, the signals that you send even without you knowing it. These are the things that recruiters don't like. In this video, we will look at the psychology behind the 7 biggest mistakes people make in job interviews that keep them from getting their dream job. And I am not talking about the obvious things like getting coffee on your shirt. I am talking about the small mistakes in communication and the mental traps that show you don't have the confidence and make the interviewer think that you are not the right fit. For each of these, I am not just going to show you the problem, I am going to give you a clear plan and a new way of looking at things that will fix it the right way. By the end of our time together, you will know exactly how to turn these secret mistakes into your most powerful tools for getting people to do what you want. So, mistake number 1 is the information transfer trap. The first and the most common mistake is thinking that your job is to pass on information. You act like the interviewer is a oral exam and you try to give all the right answers. You practiced your stats, memorized your resume, and are ready to show that you are qualified. But when you do this, you turn into a robo. You sound rehearsed and disconnected, and you completely miss the point of the meeting, which is to connect with other people. The interviewer does not just want a resume that you can walk and talk about. They are asking a much deeper question. Can I see myself working with this person every day? And if all you have done is to move data, the answer will always be a quiet no. So here's a new way to look at things. Stop trying to prove and start trying to connect. Think about the whole thing in a new way. This is not interrogation. It's a meeting to see if you and I are a good fit. Instead of just listing your skills, tell stories about them. Don't just give them the technical details when they ask for a hard project. Put it in form of a story. Talk about the tension in the team, what you learned about your own style of leadership, and how it changed the way you do things. Your goal is not to make them think that you are perfect. It's to show them that you are a real person who can help them and work with them. Influence is based on connections. Mistake number 2, the generic candidate illusion. The second mistake is coming across as a generic candidate. This happens when you use the same generic answers for every company and talk about your skills without any context. This sends a clear subconscious message to the interviewer: you are not interested in this job. You are interested in any job. It makes the interviewer think that you really do not care about the company or put in the effort. Why would they put money into you if you don't know anything about them? The answer is to use a company first model. You need to show how your skills fit with the needs and goals of the company. Before the interview, read the job description, the company's mission statement, and any recent news or projects. Instead of saying, I am an experienced project manager, you could say, I saw in the job description that you want to make team workflows more efficient. I set up a new agile system in my last job that cut the project delays by 15%. I could see right away how a similar system could help your team reach its goals for the fourth quarter. This shows that you are not only qualified but also have the exact answer to the problem right now. Mistake number 3, non-verbal cues that you don't know about. Even if you have the best answers in the world, your body might be telling altogether a different story. Negative non-verbal cues are the things that make communication impossible. You cross your arms, you make it harder for the other person to reach you both physically and mentally. If you don't smile, they think you aren't excited or happy about the chance. Then there's the nervous energy, clicking the pen, shaking the leg, and twirling the hair all the time. This says that I am uncomfortable and do not have the confidence. And the biggest one, bad eye contact. If you look around the room quickly, the other person thinks you are either distracted or even worse, lying. These little hints a strong picture of someone who is not fully there or sure about themselves. So, what's the answer? You need to learn how to stand and sit in an open and engaged way. Think of your body as a tool. To show that you are confident, sit up straight and keep your shoulders relaxed. To show that you are comfortable, lean forward a little bit. This simple gesture says, I am interested in what you are saying. Instead of shutting yourself off, put your hands around your lap and make an effort to smile at times. It makes people feel comfortable right away. And here's a great trick for making the eye contact. While they talk, look into their eyes long enough to see what color they are. It's a simple mental anchor that helps you stay in the moment and shows that you are really listening. Mistake number 4, the long, unplanned speech. We all have felt this panic. When the interviewer asks a simple question like, tell me about a time you dealt with a difficult client, the floodgates just opens. You start a long 10-minute story with 5 subplots and 10 characters. You and the interviewer will have forgotten the question by the time you are done. This is the long, pointless speech. It comes from being nervous and trying hard to show that we have the answer. But it does just the opposite. It shows that you can't organize your thoughts, that you don't speak clearly, and that you don't value their time. The STAR method is a way to fix this. You can think of it as a way to organize these stories about your career. It's your way to get rid of the noise. The letters of in STAR stands for situation S, task T, action A, and result R. Use this structure to get ready for your interview by writing down your most important stories. Like, what was the situation? What's the problem? For example, the problem is our team's morale was at an all time low after a big project failed in the last job. Then, what was your exact job? For example, my boss told me to change the way the team feels. What exact steps did you take? This is what the story is really about. For example, you can say, I set up weekly one-to-one debrief sessions, made a public small wins board, and planned a team workshop where we could learn from our mistakes. That's the A of the STAR, action. And R, what was the measurable result? For example, in 2 months, team engagement scores went up by 40% and we finished our next projects a week ahead of schedule. The STAR method turns a long rambling story into a short, powerful case study that shows how valuable you are. Your answers should be between 60 to 90 seconds long, which is the right amount of time to show the depth without being overboard with the details. Mistake number 5, the humility trap. The next mistake is a small one, falling into the humility trap. When people ask us about our biggest achievements, we often downplay them because we are taught not to brag. We say we instead of I. We say things like I was lucky or I had a great team. It's important to give credit to your team, but if always you always do that particular thing, it sounds like you are not in charge of your own career. It shows the interviewer that you don't take responsibility for your actions and don't believe in your own worth. They are not hiring the whole team, they are hiring you. So the answer is to practice confident ownership. It's not about being arrogant, it's about saying what you did rather in a clear and accurate way. When talking about what you did, use the word I. Instead of saying we launched a new product that was very successful, say I led the go to market strategy for that product, which included building the influence outreach program and writing the sales demos. It was a great team effort, and my part in it led to a 20% rise in initial sales. You can and should give your team the credit, but only after you have made it very clear what you did. Take credit for your wins. Mistake number 6, projecting past negativity. One very simple question that often leads to this mistake is why do you want to leave your current job? Even if you are leaving the worst work environment ever, you should never talk badly about your former boss, a co worker, or your company. It's one of the most obvious warning signs you can give. You don't sound like you have a good reason to the interviewer. You sound disloyal or like you are complaining. And their first thought is this how they are going to talk about us in the future? The answer is to change the story. You need to turn your attention from the past to the future. Don't talk about what you are running from. Talk about where you are going. Instead of saying, my boss was a control freak and I was completely uninspired, try this. I'm so thankful for the foundation I built in my last job. I learned a lot of things. Talk about the skill that you have acquired. At this point, I am ready to find a job where I can take more responsibility and make a bigger impact. I'm really excited about your company's focus on something that is there from the job description because it fits perfectly with that goal. This is still true and it puts your desire from growth and opportunity instead of anger. And mistake number 7, asking questions that does not matter or that are selfish. The interview is coming to an end and they change the subject. What questions do you have for me? The worst thing you could say is no, I think you have said everything. It screams that I am not interested. But asking the wrong questions is almost as bad. If you ask general questions like, what does the company do? It shows that you have not done your bit of research. When you ask questions like, what's the vacation policy? Or when do I get the raise right away? It seems like you only care about what you can get, not what you can give. The answer is to see that this moment for what it is, your last show. You go from being a candidate to being a consultant here. Your questions are the last chance you have to show how valuable you are. Make a list of 5 to 7 smart questions that show you are already thinking about and how to do well in the role. You can ask about that role. What does the first 6 months of success look like in the role for the person in this role? Or what are the biggest problems this job will have to deal with right away? You can ask about the team. What's the team dynamic like? Or what is the team's biggest strength and where is the biggest chance to get better? You can ask for the future. What do you think will be the most exciting things that can happen or that will happen at the company in the next few years? About them, that is the connection question. What has been the best part of building your career here? Yes, this is very interesting. These type of questions show that you want to do more than just get a job. You want to make a difference. So in short, let's go over what we have talked about. First, stop trying to transfer information and start making real connections. Second, don't fall for the generic candidate illusion. Instead, make your story fit the needs of the company. Third, learn how to communicate without words. Your body language speaks louder than your words. Fourth, stop talking too much and use the star method to turn your answers into stronger stories. Fifth, don't fall into humility trap for being proud of what you have done. Sixth, don't think negatively about your past. Instead, think about how you want to grow in the future. And seventh, ask smart, thought provoking questions that show you are already thinking like a top performer. An interview is not just a test where you either pass or fail. It's a talk, a way to find common ground. It's not just about getting a job offer. The job search is also about getting better at talking to people. Every interview is a chance to practice and improve your ability to connect with others. When you stop making these small mistakes, you are not only becoming a better interviewee, you are also changing the way you think from one of fear to the one of quiet confidence. You have the value, you have the experience, and you have the story to tell. People are waiting to hear it all. So, if you have found this video useful, hit the like button and subscribe for more such videos on leadership and reaching your career goals. Thanks for your time. Now, go get started for your change.